Wednesday, my new friend Jeff Linton, who's over there, is going to play for us in a few minutes. He's going to be filling in for me because I'm going to be out of town next Wednesday. And also next Wednesday, my friend Willow is here from the left coast, and we love Willow. She's going to come back next week and play. I'm going to miss her, but I just wanted to make sure that everybody knows how much I love you, Willow.
Oh, I'm
Thank
going to
you.
miss you, Chris.
Thank you for being here tonight, though. All right, Willow from the West Coast. And there's Paul.
Let's go, Paul.
No, I think that'll do it.
Paul McCormick.
Hello, everybody. My name is Paul Stuart McCormick. I am a spoken word artist and minimalist poet. Fritz, I think it's almost been 4 years, first time I showed up. And I started with my poetry, and certainly when the pandemic hit, I really started exploring my spoken word side. And tonight I want to go back to my poetry. I'm going to present two sequences of pieces. One is titled Pamela, who is my wife, and one is titled 73 Hours. I wrote Pamela with obviously my wife in mind, but these pieces that I'm about to present started 35 years ago. Because I'm not naive. I have loved people and I've hurt those very same people I loved. And I've had people love me and they have hurt me. Love is complicated. And when I first recited this sequence for my wife, I mean, she cried, she was moved, but then she looked at me and was like, my God, that was about, death and loss. And I was like, yeah, I perceive my love of you through the thought of loss and death, something that we all experience throughout our lives. While inspecting the infection of a dying dog's eye, I see my reflection in wintered gardens and polluted air. The snow falls, it jumps, never with a scream, even when heaven finds ground. Silence. And you hold me. Goodbye, my love, goodbye. With the closing of an eye, we are gone. Petals from a daffodil, logic and emotion. We remove them one by one, wiping away our tears. Pirouetting on shards of glass, lacking grace, we bleed. Beneath the sky, animals hesitate, whispering among themselves. The stars, they just are miles from it all. Ebbing, stalking, searching and praying for a gift to take. She opens her blouse, the wind exhales, we rejoice in our freedom, the decline before a fall. The stars, they just are miles from it all. My dearest Pamela, I am Paul. It may have been during a microburst. A dandelion stood strong with the weeds. A dandelion stood strong with the weeds. My memory is flawed, but true. Within a womb of flesh and decision, an umbilical cord, a noose, I terminate my own birth with exacting precision. A discord in my absolution. You pray for me. Upon your lips mine I place a sensation of us. breaking beer bottles, drinking whiskey with sin, the idle chatter, their words surround us, chaos and worship. It's a cold, cold night at the equator, a few degrees west of Eden. You take my hand. I am sorry for the words I spoke and regretting the ones I did not, tasting the bite of your kiss. Hold me, Pamela. Hold me. We embrace one another. Thank you. And it's something I speak of every time I do a spoken word. We need to love one another more. I rail against the politicians. I don't care if Democrat, I don't care if you're a Republican, autocrat, dictator. Politicians globally suck. And I'm 57 and more, my God, folks, we are on this rock that just spins around the sun. We're so infinitesimally small, and we fight over territories. We fight over religion, LGBTQ issues, racism. My God, we're all knuckle-dragging idiots. We just need to love one another. So this next sequence, my wife lived through it. Again, this is probably about as minimalist as I have gotten in a collection of poetry. The shortest piece is 4 words, and that took about 25 years. It started at about 25 words, and finally I reduced it to what I believe was only necessary to convey my sense of despair and disconnect. 73 hours. Innocence is lost where innocence is found, at birth. Sinking in a river, drowning in blood, bears catch salmon. I do not. Filament broken, Pamela sighs. Startled by darkness, she opens her drapes to the constellations, and she breathes. I am leery, I am older, I bury freedoms of youth under landscapes of ancestry. A student of science, I struggle with silence while reaching for you, my son Nathaniel. I'm sorry. I'm sorry, son. Couples talk. I don't. Fear lurks, the dawn does not. Anarchists smoke cigarettes, hungover. Late night television blues, childlike innocence, memories of hope vanquished by politicians on parade, spewing vitriol, vomit, and hate. My shadow I move, alive, it is not. Smudges of charcoal, ballerinas cry, sketching their footfalls on paper, echoes of the symphony. Temptation tempted us, inhaling fantasies, seduced by lust, entwined and certain. We kiss. The primal scent of you, I breathe. Blue on blue, blue on white, white on blue, waves crash on a western shore. I must learn to fish. Hold me in your hands and whisper, go to sleep, my love, go to sleep. I will. Powdered potatoes, deep fried chicken, meticulously presented on diamond goldy dinner plate in instant brown gravy. I eat alone. Nymphs, kin, magic, and trees, seeds beget their origins.
I start forest fires.
More often than not, a sound is more than just something heard. PTSD. Hangman, bellman, soon to be hanged man, tree limb, noose, shadows at my feet. Give me now a gift to take. I miss the feel of your embrace. Dehydration, feces and water.
We drink from reservoirs. We drink from reservoirs that are filled with our feces. And the politicians, they don't care.
Wandering a library built from stone and glass, creating an unacceptable level of noise, I hear a hypodermic needle drop and hesitate. Early morning thunder, blades of grass disintegrate. I will be immortal until the day I die. Thank you.
Thank you, Paul.
Thank you.
Always inspiring. Very, very good.
Thank you.
Paul McCormick. All right.
Hello. Hello, everybody. Thank you for being here. It's been a wonderful evening. I don't think anyone here would argue that we need more love in this world. We're a world full of war, and there are distinctions. There's major war, conflicts, constantly going on as I speak. There is human trafficking, there is genocide, there is evil in this world. I was an atheist until I was about 50 years old, and I had a series of personal experiences that have made me realize that there is something greater than just us. I am still uncomfortable with religion. I don't want to dwell on it, but it's safe to say just Christianity in itself, I don't think there's a woman's viewpoint at all. But we can find that with most world religions. But regardless, most world religions, fundamentally, it is about being good. But good is a vague term. Evil is out there. I spent 30 years in law enforcement, 15 years in law enforcement, 30 years working with people in crisis, and I have certainly dealt with evil. I am going to read a series of pieces from a collection of Pause Between Steps, and it all interconnects, I believe. Teardrop, 1927. A century-old rain floods the streets of Chicago as it had for days, long before the bedroom doors were locked to an unintended sanctuary for transgression and indecision. The wards of Illinois, the orphans entrusted to Sister Serena, listened to the din of that night while she sobbed, losing herself in prayer, waiting in the rectory to endure the unpleasantries to which she ritually acquiesced every Saturday. With the weight of sin breaking her spirit, she always smiles for her children. Effervescing 1982, a series of watercolor on paper. Standing barefoot in St. Patrick's Cathedral, wearing torn jeans and a cheap leather jacket, I am humbled by the vastness of stone and stained glass imagery. Wandering the streets of Hong Kong, having earlier indulged in pills from a crystal candy bowl in a room adorned with architectural drawings, I enter a fast food restaurant before stumbling. Engaging a professor about Johannes Vermeer, a Baroque artist whose paintings bored me, she enlightens me. And what you refer to as mundane, I find subtlety and beauty. Thank you. Thank you. Northwest Territories, 1789. I did write a preface as I was coming here before. I wanted to say something about this piece. It's taken 30 years to write, as most of my poetry has. There's something about writing poetry in your 20s, and you're just full of piss, vinegar, and then somehow over the decades, you tone down a tad. But I haven't lost my anger and frustration with the world. We need to love one another more. Northwest Territories, 1789. Shards of light sacrifice errant shadows beneath the footfalls of a monster, stalking the unicorns fast asleep in the snow 2 foot deep in a valley referred to as ancient echoes. The tales are still told of this abhorrent screams born from night terrors dreamt by them old souls who, until they died, adamantly proclaimed what they had seen. The devil himself feasting on the intestines of the deceased. I will finish with this. But again, I implore, to bring more love into this world, it has to start here. It has to start here, with your neighbor, with the people you work with. I am known to rage against the politicians. Forget Democrat, forget Republican. It's not just the United States that occupies this planet. And there is hate, and there are people who can't find water, there are people who are starving, there are children just in our own community who, I hate this term, are food insecure. Let's just say it, they're starving. I will end with Gossip, 1892, oil on canvas. Delicate brushstrokes blend gray toned silhouettes of maidens wistfully strolling along a path, leading to a church in need of some repair, on a Sunday walk, repeating a routine as one step follows the other. The final step, a pause between steps. Before entering beneath the steeple, they curtsy and giggle for all the people, with parasols atwirl, whispering of love and desire, memories beholden to innocence and dreams. Sinners and believers, we are architects by design. Thank you.